The deep-sea fish are terrible. In the abysses, forever sheltered from the sun, in total silence, where time seems to stand still, dwell horrible creatures, monsters that few have ever seen alive, and those who have seen them will never forget them, for they are disgusting to behold. Human ideas about ugliness are not accidental. They are based on the instincts inherited from the four-legged ancestors of man to evaluate external data, which are applicable not only to members of their own species, but also to any living creature. Why do deep-sea fish, as opposed to the tuna and clownfish that inhabit the upper tiers of the sea, seem disgusting? Because our instinctive sense of beauty is geared toward to identify sick and poisonous creatures, and not poisonous in the sense that snakes or scorpions are poisonous. What is disgusting is what should not be put in the mouth. At the level of instinct, deep-sea fish are perceived by humans as sick creatures because they seem not agile enough and too disproportionately built for healthy animals. In fact, deep-sea fish are healthy and perfectly adapted, but to a different world, one that is fundamentally different from ours. These fish live in the abyssal zone, where the water is virtually devoid of oxygen, as there are no plants to produce it due to the lack of light. Deep water forms only in one place on the planet, in the Greenland region, at the meeting point of the cold polar waters and the warm Gulf Stream. Oxygen dissolved in glaciers feeds the abyssal waters of the world's oceans. As depth increases, the concentration of food decreases. At 3,000 feet, plankton biomass is 1% of the biomass at the water surface, but at 16,000 feet it is only 1/100%. Fish have had to evolve to adapt to the cold, catastrophic pressure and minimal oxygen in the water. They had to find ways to survive and hunt in total darkness. Many fish have a much slower metabolism. Skeleton and musculature are poorly developed. They are sluggish and slow creatures. The deeper the habitat, the more jelly-like the fish body becomes, and the proportion of bony structure decreases. There is no light in the abyss except that which the inhabitants produce themselves. The eyes of predators are very sensitive, but if at a distance the glow demasks the fish, at close range it is blinding. Having noticed the predator, the victim extinguishes the lights and becomes completely invisible. Darkness limits the view, and how two fish coming together in the ghostly light of their parking lights will determine which of them is the predator and which is the victim. They can't. There's no way. The probability of encountering a creature smaller than yourself is always higher than encountering a larger fish. However, it is not the largest that will survive the encounter, but the one with the widest mouth, the one who can open its jaws so that the head of the enemy will fit. For this reason, the inhabitants of the depths are characterized by a monstrous, completely out of proportion, huge head with a giant mouth and teeth. For a good underwater battle requires lighting and strong, energetic, agile fighters. In the abyss, however, everything is simple. A mutual throw towards each other, at the glint of bait, at the movement, and that's it. Some continue to live, and some are unlucky enough to be swallowed.